some progress on the China-U.S. trade deal. Both sides say they have completed technical negotiations over some parts of the agreement. This comes after a call on Friday night between the two countries' top trade negotiators. China says the two sides have reached consensus on U.S. regulations on imports of cooked poultry products and catfish products. As part of the consensus, China also says it will lift bans on importing poultry from the U.S.
This is the Brazilian president's first state visit to China. President Xi Jinping hosted a welcoming ceremony for him at the Great Hall of the People in Beijing. President Xi said China wanted to strengthen their trade relations by importing more Brazilian products and promoting more cooperation in areas such as agriculture, energy, and infrastructure. He said the two countries could work together for their mutual benefit by aiding each other's development, fighting trade protectionism, and embracing multilateralism. Echoing many of the Chinese leaders' sentiments, President Bolsonaro said he hoped the two sides could expand trade and investment. He added that Brazil welcomed Chinese companies to play a part in improving the country's infrastructure. The two sides also signed several cooperation deals.
The two presidents stressed in the joint communique that the Belt and Road Initiative could be aligned with the Brazil Investment Partnership Plan to achieve interconnectivity and common development.
China is Brazil's biggest trading partner and largest source of foreign investment. Last year, bilateral trade rose to a record $100 billion.
It's my great honor to visit China with President Jair Bolsonaro. The intimate relationship between Brazil and China is very natural. The President, the government, National Congress, and the Brazil-China Parliamentary Front all regard China as a very important partner and are willing to strengthen cooperation and deepen commercial ties with China.
This year marks the 45th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations between China and Brazil. The two presidents agreed to strengthen cooperation and work together to safeguard multilateralism. Officials said closer ties between the two countries will not only benefit for the two peoples, but also significant for the world.
Standing together to fight global warming, the environment ministers of the basic countries met in Beijing ahead of this year's UN Climate Change Conference, which will take place in Chile this December. The ministers urged the global community to uphold multilateralism and ratify the Paris Agreement.
Developing countries are still facing challenges such as poverty. Climate change is a global issue, so upholding multilateralism is essential. We will push to make sure the world can take the key concerns of the developing countries into consideration.
It is also an important occasion for developed and developing countries to show that it will be possible to work together and to promote multilateral cooperation, so that the result of the positive result in the Paris Agreement would show to the world that multilateralism is a valuable option to promote equitable development.
The BASIC represents some of the world's largest developing economies. The ministers are, therefore, calling on developed countries to provide more financial and technological support to developing nations.
And newer technologies have to be made available at an affordable price. And that is not being made available at this moment. And finance, developed world committed $100 billion per year, but that has not realized.
Financial commitments that the developed countries have engaged and had made as an element of the Paris Agreement be also implemented, so that we can have fully confidence on the provisions and on the negotiations that will take place very soon.
The Paris Agreement is expected to be fully implemented in 2020. The BASIC countries say they will also urge all signatories to ratify the agreement at the Santiago Conference.
A journey with fully loaded goods. Libre, a ship of the China Ocean Shipping Company, carried over 2 tons of French red wine to Shanghai this week. Officers from the Immigration Inspection, Customs, and the Maritime Safety Administration boarded the ship together for inspection upon its arrival.
The joint inspection saved us about 2 hours. We don't have to wait for inspection from different departments one by one.
CIIE exhibit items have busily sailed into Shanghai for over a month now. The joint inspection is just one of the many measures that have been taken to improve the efficiency of various procedures.
Shipping companies can submit the information of ships, sailors, and goods online in advance, and we can examine them and get the inspection procedures done before ships arrive in Shanghai.
That means ships can start unloading right after they are pulled into shore. The French red wine is the last batch of European exhibit items for the CIIE shipped by Costco.
We have shipped over 40 batches of goods from more than 200 exhibitors for the CIIE this year. We provided some customized logistics services and shipping routes for exhibitors with special demands.
Customs also has sped up clearance procedures, reducing the logistical and time costs for CIIE items, leaving them more time for arranging exhibitions.
We have opened green channels for CIIE items and deployed officers especially dealing with these goods to make sure they can go through the customs clearance at any time they arrive.
Goods arriving afterwards will be mainly transported to Shanghai by air as the expo starts soon. The exhibiting items will be on display at the CIIE in less than 2 weeks, bringing the latest trends and the most attractive products from all over the world to Chinese consumers.
Crop this year has been pretty good, really.
Keith Amon farms corn near Alt, Colorado. Been farming with his family for 50 years now. The other day he was doing some fall tillage, preparing the ground for next year's crop. These are tough times for Amon and many of his neighbors.
It seems like all agricultural products are interrelated, and when you have a negative effect on one product, especially soybeans, it will have a negative impact on corn as well.
China's 25% tariff on U.S. soybeans has helped push commodity prices down across the board. Corn, which reached a high of $8 a bushel back in 2012, is $3.88 now.
If you're selling a corn crop for $3.50 a bushel, $4 a bushel, it's not going to pay a lot amount of bills.
Tim Magnuson, who farms nearby, says he's learned to adapt to those lower prices.
You tighten the belt a little bit and hope for the best. Of course, everybody wants more for their product, but sometimes you don't get it.
Corn yields have gone up over the years thanks to improved technology and farming practices. So in a way, folks like Magnuson are a victim of their own success. One major worry for corn farmers is that corn becomes even more abundant and prices fall even further as more soybean farmers switch over to their crop.
I've heard as much as 25 to 30% in certain locations.
Dale McCall runs the Rocky Mountain Farmers Union. He thinks trade tensions with China, Canada, and Mexico may be hurting farmers most of all.
The longer these trade wars go on, the more uncertain it becomes. And right now it impacts what you're going to plant. It impacts whether or not you're going to get an operating loan.
To use agriculture and farmers as pawns isn't something that people in Washington should be doing.
Low prices may prompt Amon to store his corn this winter in the hopes he can sell at a higher price next year, an option he says many younger farmers don't have. He's calm about the situation on the outside.
Well, there's definitely turmoil that you're not seeing.
But it's part of the landscape of American agriculture that's always been unpredictable, even more so today.